All right. Good morning. Happy hump day. Happy CPI day. CPI came in as expected, and the market moved down a little. Um, Honestly, nothing crazy. You can see they spiked it up to the overnight high basically, and then took it down to the overnight low. Made a slightly lower low, which is interesting to watch for the day. If they break this can start to waterfall. You can see this support here is pretty big. They had it yesterday in the pre-market, yesterday in the regular market, and today in the pre-market as well. So breaking this support will likely waterfall down into 672, and then we'll see what happens there. Welcome to the stream. My name is Jacob Gabbard. This is the Invest with Jacob weekly live stream. We do it every Wednesday. We go through our indicator and really exciting stuff to go through. We've updated the indicator. A lot of major updates went out to our flagship indicator, IWJ Pivot Point Pro. But we're going to look at here in just a second. I haven't released. I have in release. It's in beta right now. It's just being tested. A new indicator that is absolutely phenomenal. It blows everything, including IWJ Pivot Point Pro, out of the water that I have found. We'll go through it here in just a second, but it's called it's going to be called Squeeze Sniper, and it is really phenomenal. But first, let's go over IWJ Pivot Point Pro. The updates have been really phenomenal, and the feedback I'm getting is really good. So hopefully you guys will like it too. If you're new here, welcome to the show. We do this every Wednesday, and typically we live trade with the indicator, which is IWJ Pivot Point Pro. We're going to have a secondary indicator here in a couple weeks, hopefully next week, but we'll see. I'd like to have it out for a March Madness plan. But at any rate, we did a lot of updates to our core product. So IWJ Pivot Point Pro had a lot of rules with it. We've taken away a lot of those rules. So in the settings now, one thing is you no longer have the ticker updates. So you no longer have to come in here and change the ticker. It does that in the background automatically when you go chart to chart. When you're on the SPY, it's looking at the ES and the NQ automatically. When you go to the ES, same thing. If you go to NVIDIA, it's looking at NVIDIA automatically. So you're automatically changing the tickers when you change the chart. You no longer have to go in and do that manually. So that's the first major update. The second update we can see on the screen here, we'll go through these Z-scores in a minute. That'll be just a minute, but so you have, you can block signals from 12 to 4 New York time and from 4 to 9:30. So typically, we only trade from noon or from 9:30 a.m. until noon. And if you want to make it so you don't tempt yourself, you can block off all the signals during those time frames, and you won't see them on the chart. So that's up to you. One of the indicator upgrades is it does pretty well now after hours, and it does pretty well throughout the day. I still personally only trade it in the morning because that's when day trading is at its best. However, if for you aggressive traders that just have to have some trades, it has been updated to be a lot more accurate in that regard. The next big update is we filtered out 1 million losers. So when we get those rapid fire sell and it fails, and then you get another sell and it fails, another sell, you'll see on the chart, you just don't get those anymore. We filtered those out. So the winners are much stronger and the losers are much less. And we were already killing it, guys. The numbers we were putting up before these upgrades were amazing, and these upgrades are going to make it better. So yesterday we had a sell right here that was perfect. We had a buy right here that was perfect, and then up here at the top, okay, you had a sell. It didn't work out, and then you didn't get a bunch of loser sells that would have come through here like before. It filters out these moves, and it understands that when you have a strong trend, we're not trying to trade against the trend. So trend days no longer have to be like worried about. You don't have to sit there and watch every tick and go, oh, are we in a trend day or not? That goes away. So you no longer have to worry about trend day rules. In the settings here, you have Z-score. I personally would leave these as they are. They're set this way for a reason. If you want to see more trades, you can set your Z-score higher. So if we just make it, I'm gonna make it extremely high. You can set it to 100, and some more trades will come on, like this buy right here came on. You'll see just some trades pop up. If you want to see less trades, you can set it to 0. and it will choke out trades, more and more trades. So all the trades go away at zero. 2.25 we have found is a really strong zone, and I would leave these currently set the way they are. The next big add is our heads up engine. And essentially what this does is it gives you a warning of what's coming. So when I hit this, you're going to see some gray bars or gray blocks come on the screen here. So now you have a sell warning. This tells you that a sell is coming, so you can prepare and get your trade ready and know what you're looking for. So SW sell warning, you get a sell a few bars later, that sell works out. You don't get it every time. So for instance, this buy didn't give you a buy warning because it moved quickly back up. If it moves quickly, you don't always get it. You got a couple more sell warnings up here, and then you saw the sell and so on. You will see these. So you got a buy warning here. A few bars later, you got the buy. Buy warning here, buy warning here. You won't always get a buy or a sell. All it's saying is a sell is brewing, and assuming we continue to the downside, you will see a sell signal appear. If we don't continue to the downside, if they fail and go back up, you will not get this sell signal. But it's telling you to be ready for one. So one, you know that a sell, not a buy, is coming, and two, you know that it's coming pretty soon in the next few bars usually. So that upgrade has been made, so you can see that on there as well. And I think that is everything. It's really, really, really powerful, taking out a lot of losers, and really will improve the win-loss ratio very strongly. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Good morning, WG Shocker. Good morning, George. Welcome to the stream. If you have questions, type them in. I'll be happy to answer those. But a lot of major upgrades. We no longer, again, have to worry about trend days. 3 strikes and you're out really shouldn't be a thing anymore. We filtered out a bunch of losers. You know when the buys and sells are coming. You can filter out the time of day you want to trade. All those different things are new in the updates. Secondary, we have pretty close to ready to go what we're calling Squeeze Sniper Pro. And this one I'm really excited about. So when we go over here to the ES, so it's made for the 15-minute chart, but for day trading. And then you can use it on the hourly or daily or whatever you want to use it on. You can use it on any chart. It's pretty good on any chart. It's phenomenal on the 15-minute chart. We're going to look back here at the results here in just a second. And it gives you literally everything you need to know. So let me zoom in so we can see these boxes. So when it fires, it's going to tell you we're getting a short entry, the entry price, the stop price, the score. It's an 8 out of 10, and it's a grade A trade, meaning you can get an A plus all the way down to a C. So this is the second highest trade you can get. We get the short. It gives you take profit. It tells you where to exit, how many points you realized, and it tells you only to take profit for half of your total, and then it tells you to set your stop to break even, and then it will put the stop on the chart for you so you can see visually where it's at as well. Once they hit the stop, which they did up here, that entry goes away, or that stop on the chart goes away, so there's not a bunch of clutter, and you can see the stop is labeled here, and it tells you the total points won. So in this trade, you entered at 67.8850. You took your first take profit for a 14-point win on the ES. You have realized 7 because you've only closed half of your trade. You set your stop to break even. They went back up. They stopped you out. So you realized 7 points on this trade. It was a 7-point win. If we go back here and just look at the results, I think you're going to be incredibly shocked at how good they are, and how much information you get from this particular indicator once it's out. Otis, do I have to go in and change the settings? If you're talking about Pivot Point Pro, you need to update it. If you go on to Pivot Point Pro here and go to the 3 dots, there either should be a blue circle sitting here if you haven't updated, or you can go to the 3 dots and it will say update right here where it says about this script. Right in this area, it should say update to newest version, and it will automatically update it for you. So this is the trade that happened overnight. This was at like 4:45 in the morning because the ES runs all the time. As we go back here, here we had an A plus trade, 10 out of 10. This is about as good as you can get. Your first take was a 41-point win. and then you came back and stopped at break even. So it has two take profits. You'll see a second take profit on trades here coming up. So you closed half your trade here for 41 points. You came back to break even and stopped out. So you realized 20 points on this trade. That was a 20-point winner. If you look at these bars, guys, there's almost no heat ever taken. They just run and go. So that's 2 for 2. As we go back here, you had a short. I'll spread it out so you can see it. It's a grade A trade. You got 8 points down here and closed half. They went back to break even. You got 4 points on that trade. So winning trade, not exceptional, but winning. As we go back, okay, this was a stop out. You were minus 18 on this one. That's going to happen. Here's a grade B. Your first profit was 11.25. Your second profit was 29 points. You realized 20 points of total gain on this one. You got both take profits on this run short. So that's 4 out of 5 winners. Here you had another winner, grade B, realized 9.5 points on this one because it came back and stopped you out at break even. Your first win was at 19.50. Here you had a double winner. So this is like 7 out of 8 winning trades going back. You realized 29.75 on this one. This is a 30-point winner, grade A trade on a short. This short here was a grade A trade. You got 25 points on this one. I'm sorry, total 18. Let's see, 13. Realized. Where's my realized at? 1875. Yes, sorry, 1875. So you got 1875 on this one. Another winner. So we've had one loser so far going back here. We're all the way back to the 27th of February. So that's 2 weeks now. We've had one loser, all winners. Here's another double winner. Take profit. You realize 22 points of gain on this grade A trade. As we go back, you're just going to see it over and over. A double winner, 8 points total. Sorry, 875 on this one. This was a single winner. You got 15 points on this one. This was a double winner. You got 17 points on this one. How many losers have we talked about? Still just one, right? All the way back here, we are now on February 19th. Double winner for 1275. Double winner for 1250. Single winner for 625, double winner for 1775. How many losers have we talked about? Still just one, right? 2950 to the downside. Double winner 2850. Oh, dang, we got our second loser all the way back here at February 4th. So over the course of over a month, we are on March 11th all the way back to March 11th all the way back to February 4th, we finally got our second loser. It's a 19-point loser. You're going to have some losers that the way these run, they're going to be a little bit big. So you just got to understand that. But it tells you where your stop's at. So if you know that you're getting in at 68.82 and your stop is 69.01, you know right away what you're risking. So you're risking 19 here. And you can adjust that if you need to. These are calculated based on what we think needs to happen. So just understand that you see right away what the stop is, so you can, 1, put it in, and 2, realize what your risk is. Okay? And back to winning. Double winner, 20 points. This one up here was a loser, minus 7 points. This was a double winner for 41 points. This was a double winner for, and if you don't know anything about futures, these are $50 a point. So that's $50 per contract per point. So if you just had one contract, that's a $2,000 winning trade just for one contract on futures. This was a $32 winner. That's a $1,500 winner. So back to back, $3,500 if you just had one contract. This one was a 9-point loser. This one was a single winner for 6. You get the point, right? I hope you get the point. We had a single winner here for 19, a double winner here for 22, a double winner here for 17. This was a loser for minus 5. This was a winner for 25. This was a single winner for 675. This was a single winner for 10 and a loser for 8. I hope you guys are getting the picture on how this is working. It's an insane win-loss ratio. This was a single winner here. Sorry, single winner for 18. This was a double winner for 17. Again, how many losers are we talking about, guys? maybe a handful so far, maybe 5, and we're all the way back to wherever we are, the 21st or 20th of January. So now almost 2 months of trading, and we've had 5 losers, roughly. I don't remember exactly. There's been a lot in here. Double winner for 11, double take profit one. Yeah, double winner for 11, single winner for this was a 50 cent. That one was no good. Double winner for 19, loser for minus 750. So I hope you're getting the picture. This thing is phenomenal. It's really, really, really good. I don't want to spend all day on it, but it's getting ready to be released. It is unbelievable. It gives you everything you need. Gives you the entry, gives you the exit, gives you when to take profit 1, when to take profit 2, gives you your break even, gives you your exit. I mean, everything you need handed to you, and it absolutely crushes. Just crushes. So if we get one on here today, I'll let you know and we can go watch it. And we can go through that. You trade a lot less because you're looking for winners. You're looking for the absolute winning setup. We put a lot of time into figuring this out, a lot of time into figuring out exactly where the winning setups were and why, and filtering out what wasn't a winning setup and getting this set up the way we wanted to so that you can see it. It comes with a lot of other bells and whistles too that you can use. So, for instance, this orange dot tells you that distribution is building. You can see this orange dot is distribution, and then the market starts to sell off. The setup doesn't come until down here, and then it comes in and you get the winner. So you do have that. These little black arrows on the top and bottom, they tell you that pressure is up until it isn't, distribution built, and they go away, or pressure is down, in this case over here, and we're looking for them to continue down. Now, if they start, you can see this green bar is bouncing. As they start coming up, this green black arrow will go away, and pressure will start to shift to the upside. But it's giving you which way the market is going. So this is orange dot is distribution. Let me see if I can find a blue dot. Blue dot is accumulation. That tells you that they're expanding. So you can see that the market's going up. Distribution here, market went down. So all of these little bells and whistles that help you out as well. There's also, I don't see them on here. Maybe I took them out. I can't remember. Yeah, I did. Okay. So that's those little things as well, just to kind of help you out and help you understand which way the market's moving and what's coming next. So if you see a distribution dot, you're likely to get a sell move. If you see an accumulation dot, you're likely to get a buy move. Um, as far as the invest with Jacob, you're going to trade a lot less because we filtered out a lot of losers, and that's what you want. You want to trade less because you'll make more. Now, we do have about 10 minutes to the open. That was our big intro, so I'll quickly go through the charts. As of right now, I've been expecting another high. We came down and tested the November lows on the ES. We have two potentials. Remember, we're in a diagonal. So diagonals are ABCs, right? So there's a potential that this was all of wave 3 up here. You had your A, B, C down in 4, and then you would look for an A, B, C back up in 5 towards 71 to 7,300. I prefer another high. I think this is, I think that this needs one spike high and then turn down, and I'd be looking for 71 to 7,300, depending on how this A, B setup builds. But that would be my upside targets should that play out, and that is my general lean right now is that the bulls are going to try to make one more high before this thing is over. For the bears, where this 3 is would be the whole market. That'd be the top. You'd have A, B, C down for A. This would be a B wave bounce, and then you start a bigger C wave down that would be very strong. It wouldn't be the C wave crushing wave that we're looking for. This is like maybe A of A. I'd have to zoom out a little bit. You'd have A of A, and then a bigger A wave, a much bigger A wave, and then a much bigger B wave, and then the C wave that we're looking for that would really shatter a lot of things in the market. We've also reached a lot of support on different charts, such as the bank, such as the Mag 7, several Mag 7s. So there is, and we've bounced off of that pretty well so far. Breaking this low will very likely lead to a fall down, a quick fall down, and that would target probably, well, not probably, I can tell you what the target would be. That would target, assuming they stay roughly in the area they are now as the high. We'll give them a little bit more up, but just so you have an idea, it would target between 6,400 and 6123, just depending on how we play this out. So standard ABC target's the 1.0, that's 6400 basically. Secondary targets are 6297 and 6123, the 1236 and 1618. So we'll look for those if they shatter to the downside. To the upside, again, that ABC with 7173 being your target. NASDAQ is telling a different story overall. It's very bearish. It looks a lot more like the top is in. However, they still do have a bullish path. This would be the bullish path would be 3 A, B, C for 4, and then we're still in a diagonal, so it'd be ABC for 5 up to 27,000. The bearish path very similar to the ES. And the reason this is telling a different story is you have a much lower high here, a much better topping structure, a lower low that swept the November lows. So telling a little different story here on the NASDAQ, but the move down would be that this was the top. You have A, B, C. You'd have an A, B, C back up, and then start a C wave down there. So this would be an A, bigger A, B, C after that. Remember, every wave is made up of subwaves that are the same thing. So every A wave is made up of an A, B, C. Every B wave is made up of an A, B, C. Every C wave is made up of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's get into the comments, and then we'll get ready for our first trade of the day. Andy Bennett, Otis, welcome to the stream. Morning, Jacob. What's your current EW take on the U.S. market? I just gave you that. Myth Paul. I'm gonna go with Myth Paul. I know I butchered that, and I'm sorry. Welcome to the stream. Morning. What's your current take on the? Are you in at two names? That is literally the same comment. Sam, good morning. Welcome to the stream. I like your tracking system. Thank you, Jack Barnes. FYI, newcomers, the indicator was already strong before these revisions. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. Noah Schwartz, welcome to the stream. I like the upgrade to the indicator. Very nice. Thank you, Noah. Could wave 3 of 1 be an ABC correction? Wave 3 of 1. Wave 3s are never an ABC, so I don't know exactly what you mean there. All right, guys, we've got about 5 minutes, so I'm going to get set up here so that I'm ready to go. Let me make sure, just over here real quick. I think I have my alerts on. Yeah, I do. Okay. So I should get an alert if this fires, and we will see what we get. Over here, you'd be looking for a blue expansion dot. So you see this orange dot, that's the distribution. You can see the distribution played out nicely. If they're going to continue higher, eventually you'd want to see a blue expansion dot, and then after that you'll see eventually, hopefully, you would see a trade. It just, I mean, obviously it has to set up and work and go. But I did the month of December, and let me see if I still have that up here real quick. I think this is it. Yeah. So this was the month of December. I'm going through line by line and doing every single trade. Through the history because it's hard to backtest them the way the code is written and stuff. So this was December, and your total points here was 222.75 SPY points. And then if you, so I have the grades here, C, B, and A plus. If you said a C was a 1 contract trade, a B was a 2 contract trade, an A was a 3 contract trade, and an A plus was a 4 contract trade, here's your totals over here. Wait, is that right? Or did I do 2, 3, 4, 5? Maybe I changed them. Okay, so sorry, I was looking at different stuff that I do. But you can half this, cut this in half. So it was 1,389 divided by 2. So if you did it that way, where you weighted the trades by grade, you had 1,389 divided by 2. So what's that? 600 and it leaves 18. 631, basically 631 points for the month. That's a pretty incredible month if you consider that every single point is $50. I believe that's what this is. Yeah, so it would be a $35,000 month, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's see where we're at on the chart. Wait, are you guys able to see that? Sometimes it doesn't show up on the thing. Let me see what you guys can see here. 1 second, guys. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. All right, so do that, didn't do that, and then let me go over here to charts. Let me go to trade and see what we're looking for. All right, we've got 2 minutes. I got. All right, so okay, right now ES and NQ are not in sync. The NQ's ripping pretty good and has been for a while, whereas the ES hasn't quite caught up. They are in a squeeze, and the ES is now, or the NQ is firing its squeeze to the upside, so you're getting a bullish squeeze on the ES, and it's in its buy cycle, whereas the so that was the NQ I said, I hope. NQ is firing, it's trying to fire its squeeze to the upside. It's in a buy cycle, and we are seeing that play out up. The ES is not fully into its buy cycle yet, so we'll see how that plays out over here. So right now we won't be looking for anything. We'll hopefully see our buy warning or sell warning. We should see a sell warning most likely for our first trade, or a sell. Again, you don't always get the warnings before you get, you got your buy warning here, but up here you didn't get a sell warning. Just depends on how it comes together. We don't always know the sell is coming. We know a sell is coming. The sell warning is more the sell is imminent. So I can tell you what's coming. I don't know when. The sell warning and buy warning kind of tell you what's imminent, if that makes sense. In the next few bars, you should see a buy or sell. Is the squeeze indicator already released? If not, when will it be available? I hope by next. It's not released. I hope by next week. I'm just going through the last little bit of um, quality control. I don't like to put out terrible products. Kind of bothers me. Okay, we are now firing the squeeze to the upside and getting a little gap here as well. So the next trade would be a sell, assuming it plays out. I need to get that all set up here while we're talking. So give me 1 second while I set that sell up. One thing I did forget, guys, and I am very sorry. I forgot it Monday and Tuesday. I promise today I'll make it work. The afternoon video that I do, that I used to put on YouTube, I'm going to do those live on YouTube moving forward. I meant to do that starting Monday, and I forgot that I was doing that. And by the time the meeting got around to being ready, I didn't have a YouTube set up, and so I couldn't do it. And then yesterday, second verse, same as the first. I did the same thing. I'm testing these indicators. I get wrapped up in what I'm doing. I look up, it's time for the call, and I haven't set up YouTube. So today, starting today, our afternoon call will be on YouTube. You'll have afternoon updates again, and they'll be live, so you can get them right at 3:55, 4 o'clock. They'll be scheduled for 3:55. We'll go through the close, go through everything. You'll have all of the updates right at the close for the next day, so you can trade as soon as the futures open or whatever you need. So check those out in the afternoons. I do apologize for not getting those up. It is so much going on. Okay, we are firing both squeezes to the upside here. We've got currently, today's March 11th, so let me go set my trade up. We would be looking for a sell. Fairly high priced options. I mean, it is CPI day, so you're going to get some of that. So I would expect some downside behavior today. We're currently looking at 677 as a potential strike. Obviously, that can change. We will be taking full size positions today. Options are right around $2. I usually switch to half size at about 250 and above. So today will be full size positions, and we'll kind of go from there. So hopefully you guys like the updates, like the new indicator, like everything going on, and we can get some trades today, I hope. Remember, trend days aren't a thing. They are. Trend days happen, but with the indicator updates, we should not see, or we should not have an issue trading a buy or sell against the trend, as we shouldn't get a bunch of refires on it, and it should only fire when ready, as much as possible. And when you get trend days, the squeeze indicator should fire and give you a trade there. So just depending. I mean, it won't always fire. It's not always going to set up. Not everything is a winning setup. And if you just joined us, guys, we went through the squeeze indicator here. I'll show you just again real quick. Um, it's an absolute crusher. This is so anytime you see a blue box, that means you want it's a winning trade. If you see a take profit one, you're going to get at least the half point or the realized points. So 7 on this trade is what you got because you stopped out at break even. Um, and it gives you everything you need. But the reason we trade less is because we're looking for A plus winning setups. And you can see winner. So that was a winner. That was a winner. That was a winner. You know, that was one loser. Double winner. Winner. Double winner. Double winner. Double winner. Double winner. Winner. Double winner. Double winner. Double winner. So you're going to trade less. But how many times do you like hearing the word winner? I think every trade I like hearing it. So um, you don't always get the setup that. So if they squeeze higher right now, for instance, we may or may not get a trade. I don't know. I don't. I can't calculate all the shit that calculates. But we only take the trades it gives us because those are winning setups, and it's phenomenally winning. It's very very good. Noah, I am aware, and if you want to, you can. Yeah, I don't mind. Papa Bear, can the squeeze sniper work on SPX instead of the ES? I have tested it on all futures markets. I have not tested, so here's the key word, tested, um, tested it on other markets. I have looked at it on other markets. So how much time do we have on this bar? Let me see. We may be getting a trade here soon. So when we get a little break here where we're not going to get a trade for sure, I'll let you know. But we'll go look at it on a couple other charts because the charts I have looked at all look good, but I'm not going to tell you it works because I haven't tested it, and that's the key to me. I don't like to put out information that isn't valuable or good. I'm not just going to tell you it works. I'm going to tell you it looks good. So we'll go look at it on a couple charts. Again, that's not testing it. That's just looking at it. I have actually done the work on running the numbers for the futures markets, and they're very good. And there's no rules on it. There's no, you can't trade this hour, you can't trade this trade, you can't trade this setup. It's trade 24/7. Well, 23/6, at least for the futures markets. Okay, we're getting a little weakness here. We'll see if we get a trade or not. Now, one thing to understand is because of the updates to IWJ Pivot Point Pro, there are going to be some missed trades. So, for instance, on the old Pivot Point Pro, let's just say you traded after hours. Just let's for an example here. Okay, let's just say you traded after hours, and let's just say this was, or let's just say this is regular trading. It doesn't matter. Point is, on the old one, this buy got rejected, and there was another buy that fired right here. So you would have missed this move. But historically, as we ran the stats, this move happened about 1 out of 7 times, and this happened or this happened the other 6. So, yeah, it's nice to get this when it happens, but if it takes you 7 tries and you're not getting the payout for it or enough payout to make the money you need to make to be a professional, profitable trader, then you don't need that trade. It's not a trade you want to take because the effort of catching this trade, or what are the opportunity cost is too high. Okay, so we look at opportunity cost and say, is it worth it to try to catch the 1 out of 7 times it does this? And the answer was no, resounding no. In fact, not in fat. That's what I am. In fact, Matt, he's a member we have, and he is a uh, paid member. He's follows the group and does the trades and learns from me and does everything. He charts all of our trades because he wants to make sure that the numbers are right. He keeps me honest. I make mistakes because I move very quickly on these things, so I fat finger numbers sometimes, and so maybe it is in fat. In fat, Matt did a study of his own, an analysis of his own, and I believe what he said was, I can't remember the exact numbers, but for every 5,000 you catch on a counter trend trade, so on a trend day when we were trying to chase the opposite way, for every 5,000 you made, you lost, I think it was 20,000. I think that was the number. So for every 5,000 you caught the reversal on the trend day stuff where you missed the move, right? Because we didn't catch that day's trend day reversal, you would have lost 20,000 trying to catch it. And that's what people don't understand. They look at a singular move and they say, oh, this doesn't work or this isn't good because we missed this move. What you didn't realize is we knew we missed that move on purpose because we looked at the last 10 times that setup appeared and we said, wow, it really doesn't fire that often. And when it does, it's pretty strong, but that really strong fire doesn't outweigh the other 6, 7, 8, 10 losers that you get trying to get that one move. So we looked for moves that fired 8, 9, 10 out of 10 times. Obviously, nothing is firing 10 out of 10 times. You're going to have misses, but I think we got pretty darn close on this squeeze sniper. I'm when we put the code in, when we figured out what we figured out, it took us a long time. So if you remember on the old Pivot Point Pro, there was a crossover and cross under alert. That was the start of the squeeze um, testing, and it was supposed to be incorporated into Pivot Point Pro. We weren't able to do that because the codes clashed, didn't work, so we had to make a separate indicator. Um, and it took us, that was over 2 years ago that we started that testing, and literally in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we made a breakthrough on what we were missing or what filter worked the way we wanted it to on both long and short trades. And that breakthrough was when we put the code on there. I said, "Oh man, that should be good." I mean, you're looking generally in most trading setups, you're looking for, especially the way we trade, 50-50. So half and half, winners losers. If you do your risk reward correctly, you're looking for 50-50 or better. At least I am. Some people can do less. They can do 33% winners because they're looking for much bigger wins. Um, and we got like, it was on the I did the hourly chart, and that was 37 winners, 13 losers out of 50 trades. So that's a 74% win rate, and our wins were almost 2.5 to 1 our losses. So not only were you winning 7 out of 10 trades, your winners were 2.5 times your losers. That's an insane number. I don't think you guys understand how big that number is. If you go 50-50 and you can get 2 to 1, that's insane. We're 74 with 2.5 to 1. So it's way better than I thought. Way better than I thought it would be. And that was over a year of data. So on the hourly chart where you would like swing trade, that was a year of data. We had 50 trades. So you're getting about 4 swing trades a month, roughly. And it was 37 and 13 was the win rate, and the winning percentage, and then the win rate was 2.5 to 1. So just numbers you can't believe over an entire year. It wasn't like we did it for a week or a month. That was an entire year's worth of data. My boxes are SW and BW gray. Yes, that's so. If you go back and listen, Otis, those are the sell warnings, so you can see them on the screen. Buy warning right here. That means a buy is coming. You see the buy comes about 3 bars later, 4 bars later, and you get the buy. And this is pre-market, so we're not trading it. But And I wouldn't trade anything CPI anyway. In fact, this buy was probably a winner if you had your had your first take just leveled out up here. But CPI I would never trade into. Way too volatile. So the buy warning gray and sell warning gray mean that a buy or sell is likely to come. It doesn't mean they will come. Okay. And you don't always get them because you don't know every time. But anytime we do know, it's printed on the chart. Like up here, we didn't know the sell was, we know a sell's coming, but we don't know it's imminent. So uh, think of weather, right? The weatherman can say, hey, snow's likely to come Tuesday, and we think it's going to be 1 to 3 inches. And then on Tuesday, the snow gets there and it stalls, like it snows, but it's the storm stalls over an area and they get like 12 inches of snow. They knew snow was coming, but they didn't know it was going to be a blizzard. They knew snow because the weather changed at the last second. So most of the time we know a storm or weather is going to be sunny. Most of the time we know it's going to rain. Most of the time we know it's going to snow, but sometimes they're wrong and sometimes they don't know how long it's going to last, or it lasts longer than they think, or the numbers are just a little off, or the wind changes, the jet stream changes, whatever. I don't know that much about weather, so everything I said could be absolutely wrong. I just know that they get it right sometimes and not others. But it's just a warning system to let you be prepared uh, for that event. Should see a little bounce here coming into VWAP in the 8. If they blow through it, that's actually fairly strong from the Bears. So I actually hope we do bounce. Yeah, good, because I don't want this sell to hit at or below the VWAP in 8 area. I'd like it to hit above. Otherwise, you're very likely to get stopped out, and that's annoying. So the indicator doesn't, this indicator, IWJ Pivot Point Pro, takes into account when things are shifting in the other direction. It doesn't always take into account, hey, entering a trade here isn't the best because you're going to get a bounce and your stop's going to hit. There's your sell warning. That means a sell is imminent. So it doesn't take into account there's going to be a little bounce here. Okay. And the sell warning went away because there is a bounce here. I said we should get a bounce off these two bars. It just says things are shifting in the other direction. And then it issues the sell here. And then you bounce like we're doing exactly right now. You stop out, and then the market has already been shifting, but it took a minute to break through this support because everybody looks at these levels. So the indicator can't take into account that kind of thing and say, oh, don't issue it right here. It has to issue it when the conditions are met. And all it's telling you when it issues that is we are likely to go down, and we are likely to go down at least 5 to 7 ES points, which is about 50 to 70 cents on the SPY, which usually gets you a 20% win. And on top of that, it's saying not only are we looking to go 5 to 7 down, we are looking for that 5 to 7 down to have the potential to run. So it's 5 to 7 down where you can get that quick win. And also, we see a big potential for this to break that 5 to 7 zone and go to 15 to 20, 30 to 40, 50 to 60, whatever it is. And you see it, more often than you think. Up here, this is 678.40. This is 675. So that's about 30 ES points right there, roughly. I'm just kind of guesstimating it. Okay, now an entry is okay. They've bounced off of VWAP and the 8 and then come back down. So if they, and this can all happen on the same bar, by the way. Somebody asked that yesterday. You can get a sell right here on the same bar. So keep that in mind as well. Still sitting on 677 as our strike price for our put. Zoom in a little so we aren't so far away. I tried to make this and the other indicator as idiot proof as possible, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a, hey, how do I know when a sell is coming? What can I do to figure that out? And or how do I know when a trade is coming? So we put a whole bunch of things in. Hey, where's my stop? Where do I enter? How do I get out? What's my take profit? All of those things. We tried to do all of that so that um, it's as easy as possible for you to trade. You're thinking less and acting more, and you're just following what the trade tells you to do. RTY is having a difficult day. Oh, wow, it's down 1%. I haven't even looked at the other charts, honestly. You're right. It is down 1%, and that is a very good indicator of the market not being able to break out. So the market's unlikely to break out. Banks also having a tough day back below 50, guys. Be very careful when the banks get below 50. This thing can be really nasty. I know I said at the beginning I'm looking for another high. However, if banks stay below 50, that is in jeopardy. Banks need to hold 50 and bounce with this market if we're going to get another high. If they do not hold 50, then we could see a much, much bigger drop. Now, to be clear, by the way, the bull market isn't fully, I'm not going to sit here and say it's fully over until or unless we're below the April lows, which is quite a ways down, because that's the last major low, and that's where the change of character in the market happens. The NQ is the issue here. The ES is actually and the SPY are all on a sell. We're just waiting on the NQ to get on board. Remember, we have to have confluence, and the NQ still holding decent. Not great, but decent. It's green right now, whereas everything else is red. NQ is kind of holding the market up. And now we are looking at a potential Mag 7 versus the market day. You can see that the SMH is nice, the NVIDIA is nice, the Meta is nice, Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Google, all green. So you have a Mag 7 versus the market day, and that can be a bit of a choppy day. But usually we're at negative 790 on the ADD. Usually you can get some winning trades out of that. So usually they'll allow for some move down and then move up and things like that. So we'll see. If you can get the Mag 7 to sell a little bit, that would be the ideal situation. All right. NQ still has to get into a sell here. That is the issue. Everything else is selling. And NQ starting to sell. It's just not in a point where it's shifted yet. So we need to see the NQ get on board. Um, right now you have a failed breakout, so you're probably looking at a revisit of 674. I have shifted to a 676 strike, by the way, because of the move down here. So 676 is now the strike price that we are trading. And there it is. Okay, so I got in at 212. And okay, my stop is going to be 677. Okay, so we got a 676 strike, a 212 cost, 677 stop. We'll see if we can get some follow through here to the downside. Let me get this updated in the room. This is moving pretty quick, so hopefully we can keep up. Day trade alerts short. Day trade alerts. Okay. I didn't see what we got to. Okay, 223. We're at 212 is 21 cents. So that's 33. So at 233, we will move our stop down. We're at 225 right now. And may have hit 233, but I was moving too fast there and didn't see. But we do have a wick down there to 676.14. But at 233, you're going to want to move your stop down to 676.75. So if you don't know what we're doing here, we're trading our indicator, and as it moves down, when we get a 10% in the money, and what I mean by that is our cost was 212, so 21 cents is 10% in the money. So at 233, we move our stop down to protect us from taking a bigger loss than we should or need to. And then at 15%, we move our stop to break even, and at 20%, we take half off at a profit and let the other half run with appropriate stops. Hopefully the NQ didn't take too long here and get us um, into the sell too late, but we'll see. Yeah, there was the stop out there. Darn it. Okay. 194 on the stop there. We'll look for another sell opportunity here coming up. If they give us the manipulation bounce here, which trappy bounce, that's fine. If they reissue this sell, we'll take it and see if we can get follow through the second time. You see that fairly often on these types of trades. So on these Mag 7 versus the market days, we need the Mag 7 to give up some, and they did a little, but not enough. Essentially, what you have is a ADD that's negative 760 right now. You have an RTY that's down almost 1%, and you have a a Mag 7 that's very green. Well, not very green, but pretty green. I mean, you have semiconductors are up 1%, Nvidia's up almost 1%, Meta's up, you can see them all there on the right side of my screen, but they are all green, except for Netflix just went red. So until or unless they go red, we will not be moving down too quickly or much. So one thing now that I'm looking here and have some time, we will not get another sell signal here. And the reason we won't get it is because the ES closed in a sell, then closed back in a buy. And one of the data points that we looked at and filters that we put in is that when we see a waffling market, more often than not, it becomes choppy at best and reversal at worst. So, in other words, when you see a sell signal here and then they reverse it back into the buy cycle, and then they go back into sell cycle on the next bar or next couple bars, what we end up seeing is this market do a lot of this or this. Can it go down? The answer to that is yes. But these are the places where we looked and analyzed our data and said, hey, we're getting, a winning trade here for, maybe sometimes it was 20% win, maybe sometimes it was a 15, 30% win, whatever, 10% win. But more often than not, we're getting a group of losers where it tries to keep issuing sell signals here and they don't work. And so we filtered those out. So we will not get a sell signal until they go through a cycle, come back up and buy, and then reissue a sell. Just as an FYI, so you guys understand how the filters work. And because of that, we can go look at the sniper squeeze. So somebody was asking if it worked on SPX. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it on SPX at all because I never use it. I never use the SPX. So if we go back and look, um, I can't tell you. This will be new to everybody. Looks pretty blue so far. All right, so you entered a short here. It was an A plus trade, and you netted 47 points on that one. Here you entered a long, and you netted 8 points on this one. This is way down here because the bar closed way down here. Um, so just it has to be put somewhere, so we put it at the top or the bottom of the bar. It didn't stop out way down here. The stop is listed on the trade, so right there at 680, 68.53.10, it stopped out. Um, that would have been your stop, just so you guys are aware. Here you had a double winner for 22 points. This one did stop out for minus 15 points. Here you had a double winner for 38 points. This one did stop out for 15. This one stopped out for 20. Um, this one was a winner for 8. This one stopped out for 14. This was a winner for 13. So it's not as good as the futures because the overnight data and the SPX in general isn't as good for IWJ Pivot Point Pro either because you don't have any overnight data because it's the cash market. So the answer to that question is I think it's usable. We've only gone back a little bit. I think it's usable, but I don't think it's going to be as good. I can already see, a fair amount of stop outs, which we don't get on the other charts. You need to have that overnight data to crush to kind of understand these big gap downs and how they're going to work, or big gap ups. But you still have plenty of opportunities. I mean, this was a 17-point win. This was a 10-point win. Down here you had, 3-point win. That's not that good. So there's still opportunity on the SPX. Winner, winner. I can still tell you there's way more winners than losers, but it is definitely not as good as the futures. This was a double winner, double winner. That was a stop out there. Double winner, single winner, double winner. I mean, it's not bad. Double winner, single winner, single winner, single winner. Stop out, stop out. Single winner, single winner, single winner. Stop out, stop out, stop out. Double winner. That was a good one. Double winner, double winner. Single winner, double winner, single winner. It's not bad. It's just not as good as the ES because the futures contract, because the overnight data is so important to the market as a whole and how the filters work and how the parameters work. So when the SPX opens and it opens at a 50-point gap up or a 50-point gap down, um, it the parameters and the filters aren't going to crunch those numbers the same. Um, because it doesn't have any way of processing how that gap down worked. All it knows is the last bar was at 6700 and the next bar was at 6650, and it says to itself, "Oh my god, that's a 50-point drop in one bar. This is bad." And so it has all these calculations that tell it we're in an extremely short market, things are bad, whatever. And so it's going to confuse the um, indicator. Again, it still does pretty good. I don't think it's bad, but it's certainly not as strong as the ES. And what I would do if I was going to trade the SPX is I would trade the ES signals, but use the SPX. Does that make sense? That hopefully that makes sense to what is the strategy that I'd use. Let's see here. Let's go back up. I have more Baja. Never mind. I figured it out. RTY having a difficult day and key lagging a bit. Um, any thoughts on the war in Iran and its impact as a catalyst for the various sectors per your MO on Elliot Wave? Um, I think it's interesting how these things work out. If you were in my group, Ever since Jerome Powell said inflation is down and going down, ever since he said those words out loud, which was, I don't know, it's been months now, several months that he's been saying that, I said inflation is coming back. Oil and gas is coming back. It will lead inflation. We're not out of inflation yet. And we may hit stagflation. That's where I really think we're headed. And it's interesting how this war happens to come up at the lows of inflation, or when inflation's quote unquote taken care of, even though if you go to your grocery store, it certainly isn't. And it's over oil, where it's at least over a country that controls a lot of oil, and the Hormuz Strait, which controls a lot of oil. I said that completely wrong, so don't tear me up on that. I don't know how you pronounce it, but whatever the strait is there. And that causes, quote unquote, causes oil to go up. Before anyone ever knew we were going to blow up Iran, before Trump was president, I said oil and would lead higher, gas would lead higher. That would be the leading indicator that inflation is back. And we're not fully there yet because this can be a quick spike and die kind of move. But I do still think inflation is a problem and will be a sustained problem for the market. And that is really the problem for the overall economy that people think is going away and is gone, and I think is absolutely insane. You don't get to spend trillions of dollars bailing people out of a self made. All right, I'm not going to get political. Anyway, bailing people out of the hole you put them in and um, not feel the effects of that or only feel them for 10 minutes. That is a multi year, probably decade problem that doesn't just go away. They don't just get to say inflation's gone. I mean, they I guess they do and they can if those factors are met, but they aren't. They aren't. And anyway, so I think that the bigger issue is that inflation is the problem and has been forever, at least since COVID. And they wouldn't acknowledge it then. They won't acknowledge it now. They lied about it the entire time through COVID, said it wasn't a thing, it was transitory, it's not here to stay. And then they panicked because it was here to stay. So either they're incompetent idiots or they're liars. I go with liars because they work for politicians. If they're incompetent idiots, then we have no hope in the world anyway, which, if you know my thoughts on Epstein and the elites and how this is all headed, I don't know how much hope I have anyway, but I'm getting a little too conspiracy for everybody. Um, to answer that question concisely, I think that inflation is a problem, and it's a problem that will be here sooner than later, and that will be the overall catalyst to um, the market really fumbling. That and banks. I mean, banks are the big problem, but that kind of goes hand in hand. Let's see. I see it. Never let a good crisis go to waste. I think that if you want my true thoughts, I told this to my room. I might have said this last week. I don't know. I think that there is a bigger problem than I thought. I thought there was a financial crisis coming our way. I still do. I think that very, very much. Uh, and I think it's going to be on levels people aren't really aware of. Nobody was alive. Well, hardly anybody's still alive that was in the Great Depression. Um, and how that all went. Most of the people who trade stocks now know it because the internet allowed you to trade stocks and see stock markets, and you didn't have to read the newspaper to get the numbers. The invention of internet and day trading, at least day trading in the sense that every idiot in their house can do it, um, has changed a lot of different things on how people view the market. And because of recent history of the market, nobody really knows what a bear market is. We've been in a bull market for almost 100 years, and people will say, no, there's a bear market in 98. Well, there was a short bear from 2000 to 2009 for sure, but that was more of a wave 4 pullback in a bigger bull market. To me, that's not a bear market. I'm talking about a long-term bear that's going to last for a while. People think that bear markets last weeks or months and not years. Most people don't know about 2000, 2009 other than it was the dot-com bubble. Um, They don't realize it was 9 years before we got back to the highs and the market lost 66% of its value. Those are things that happen in the market and will happen again. And I think soon. Um, but most people say, oh, the market can't go down. Why would the market go down like that? Why would Nvidia ever go down? It's a great company. I don't know. Why would Lehman Brothers ever go out of business? They were a great company. Why would all of the banks have to be bailed out? They were great companies. Why would um, who am I forgetting here? There's several. We can go down a lot of look at Intel. They went from like the darling tech sector to almost out of business. They dropped so fast. Um, you're seeing all kinds of. Why would Netflix go down half its value? Because markets run in cycles, and we're at the end of a major, 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 major bull cycle. On top of you throw into that um, geopolitical events and uncertainty, and then my problem is that people think this is a Republican or Democrat problem, at least in America, and I think it's an elite, not elite problem now. And I think there's two major instances over the last 5 years, 6 years, that have solidified that for me. I didn't want to believe that COVID was a test, but I mean, I don't know how you can look back at COVID, whether you were on the side of it was crazy or not. If you have any kind of common sense and just look at it logically and remember that you had to take off a mask to take a sip of your Coke and put a mask back on because that was medically safe. I mean, how much control can they have over you? How much control can they make you? Just say it out loud. And then they go back and Fauci's like, oh yeah, 6 feet, we made that up. I don't know. I was just like, I guess. I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want people to hate me because that's not what I'm here for. I run a business. But I do have a major concern about the elite and the not elite. And that was the first major event. The second one is the Epstein files, where they can literally lay on the table the most heinous crimes you could ever imagine to the most vulnerable group of people you could ever imagine, and no one cared. It's not that they didn't care. Don't get me wrong. People care. I care. I think I have a daughter. If you have a kid or if you just have compassion or empathy or love or anything in your heart, I don't know how those people aren't put on pikes and made an example of so that no one in the world would ever think to want to do it again because it would be so brutal. That's how I feel. But instead, what we do is we say, that really sucks. That was pretty nasty. Gosh, can't believe all those guys did that. What are they going to do? Oh, they still have money, and Bill Gates now has more money and now has the defense contract with OpenAI. Weird. How do you get that? Huh. And I think that's all control. And it's not just in America. It's a worldwide event. The Epstein files are worldwide, and that is a very frightening thought that you have a kingdom essentially, and we're the serfs. If the kings can do whatever they want and nobody can do anything about it, then you live in flea bottom. If you don't know what flea bottom is, it's Game of Thrones. You are the people in flea bottom, and the kings are up in the tower doing what they want to do, doing really disgusting things, and nobody is stopping them. And if we don't stop them, they ain't gonna stop themselves. And all of the people in power who could stop them are in it. So to answer your question, I got off on a little bit of a tangent there because I have personally very strong feelings about it, and I worry about the future of not only our country but kind of the world. I don't know what's happening to humanity and why people aren't human anymore, but it's a sad place. It's a really sad place, and the power that the elite have now is beyond disgusting. So those are my thoughts. Hate me today if you need to. It just I don't know. It's a scary. It's a lot of scary thoughts to me. I don't want to be the. It's funny. I'll tell a personal story, and then my grandpa um, used to tell my dad that they're watching us, and my dad said, "God, Dad, you are paranoid. You're weird." He'd say, "No, they are watching us. They're collecting data on us, and they're doing all these things." I mean, they were talking about it all the way back then when he was a young man, and now they have the internet, and the internet is all the data they can get. I mean, it's all of your data wrapped up in one. And it's weird how these things keep coming to light and keep coming true, and it's if it keeps happening the way they say it's happening and no one's stopping it, then that makes the end game very scary. Looking for a failed breakout on NQ and get the lower end of the range. That's very possible. And if you're a person that needs to trade, we would on the old indicator this would be a sell right here. But again, we found that these sells, as you can see on the chart, tend to fail. So we'll see how they trade it overall. They could still take it down and win this trade. That's a possibility, but we're trading percentages, and the percentage of times these trades work out is way low. We love conspiracy. Never feel shy about sharing. Yeah. Well, when you run a business, you don't want to chase off too many people. If the market crashes, we can still make money with the indicators. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a time though where I worry even about that because liquidity is going to be a problem, and even if you're on the right side of it, sometimes I don't know if you're going to be able to get out. Any chance we get a signal here? No. Technically, in the old indicator, yes, but no, not right, not with the new indicator because it filters out. That would have been this would have been a signal right here, and we would have stopped out. That would have been a losing trade. So that's why we do that. Noah Schwartz says 100%. Yeah, I, I know. Arcturian, I cared a lot. Absolutely disgusting. The state of the world. It really is. Like that's the biggest thing. I just don't even understand how there's no humanity amongst people to stop it. We were so worried about whether Trump's in there or whether Clinton's in there or whether we are the evil other side of the aisles in there, instead of worrying about everyone in there should be in jail. And not only in I have a dark mind, but um, there are lots of things about the Middle East that I admire on how they handle crime. And if you get your hand chopped off, stealing's a lot harder. Sean says I can guarantee they are watching my trades. I don't think they care about your 1 or 5 contracts or 10 contracts, whatever you're trading. Sean, you might be a billionaire, you might be one of the guys. I don't know, but I don't think they're watching yours, but they're watching the general public for sure. Loving you more than ever. Thanks. I think most people feel the way you do, just not. Sorry, that moved. Not much that can be done till it gets to a breaking point. That's the thing. Is I think the big wild. Well, hold on 1 second, guys. I think my dog needs to go out, so I'm gonna let him out real quick. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I forgot what I was talking about there. Oh, I remember. I think the military is actually the wild card because I was in the military and I know what the duty of the military is. And while you're supposed to respect the orders of the people above you, your duty is to protect and serve your country. And if they try to turn if the people rise up and they try to turn the military on them. If I was in the military, I'd have a problem with that. I would have a problem going after civilians who are tired of the oppression, um, in a different way, not oppression like slavery, not oppression like women or anything like that. Oppression of power and elitism and being able to get away with literally heinous crimes. And the only way to stop it is to physically stop it. Um, and that's all you can do. So if the military follows those orders, then it's really tough to rise up against a country and turn them down. But if the military sides with the people, then you have a chance. Regarding Iran, good insight. I was thinking along the lines of the war being a multi-catalyst sector manipulation to make trading ranges. There's a lot of that that goes on, but um, yeah, I think the biggest coordination is going to be the crash coordination, where the elite are able to protect their money because they're the ones coordinating it, and the middle class is wiped out because pensions and retirements and um, companies and so many different people will be absolutely leveled. And what they can do then is they can say, "Oh gosh, you don't have any money? Come to the government. We'll help you. We control what money you get. We control what housing you have because BlackRock owns every house in the country. We control what groceries you can get. We control what vacations you can take. We control your life." And that's, I think, the big concern that I have. True leaders don't lead, they guide. That's a great insight there. I like that a lot. I read a book a long time ago, and I forget what it was, which one it was. I believe it's one of the like 1 Minute Manager books series. I like those books a lot. Um, and the whole point was poor leaders protect themselves and discard their people because they're scared that one of those people will take their spot. Whereas good leaders understand that if I have five of me, one, they can do everything I can do, so we can really delegate the work properly. And two, I want somebody to take my spot so I can take the spot above me, so I can move up. I can't move up unless somebody can take my spot. So yeah, I think that great leaders understand that bringing everyone up to their level is the best possible thing you can do. Um, let's see here. Sorry. Iran strikes a Thai ship attempting to pass through Strait of Hormuz. That should create some movement in the market. Um, I guess. I mean, everybody's kind of expecting these things now. The market is aware of the war. They are aware of the um, things that go along with the war. So I don't know that it's too shocking. Iran has been um, kind of flailing, just shooting missiles everywhere. So it's not shocking that they've attacked a ship. Um, So it's certainly possible. I mean, they can use any excuse they want to move the market, but um, it is it isn't something I'd be counting on. Hello, Crazy Kelly. Welcome to the stream. Did I serve in Europe? I didn't serve over there as much as I visited. So I was on a Navy ship, and we did a lot of med stuff. So I was in Rota, Spain, Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona, I flew into. I was in um, England and Germany and Turkey, Romania, Crete, Turkey. Did I say Turkey? I think I said Turkey. Um, Norway. If anybody here's from Norway, what a place. God, that's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Um, Probably some others that I'm forgetting, but mostly those places. Did you use the ATT phone on the Navy ship known as sailor phone? Funny. Yes, I did. And I can tell you that is one of the most frustrating experiences ever. If you don't know what that is, it's a satellite phone, and you can, it's like $1 a minute, but you can call your family or whatever and have a quick conversation. But the delay on it is like 5 seconds. So you say hello, and then you're waiting for them to say hello, and you forget that it's a 5 second delay, and you're like hello, and then they say hello, and they're waiting on you, and then there's like six of those back and forth, so there's like $5 gone. And then trying to have a conversation is it's about impossible. It's mostly to hear their voice. It's a hard thing being out there sometimes. Oh, you did the maintenance on those? That's funny. Donegal, Ireland. Never been there. I would love to go to Ireland. I've seen pictures. I'd love to play a round of golf or something over there. That's a beautiful place. My friends, several of my friends have gone. They say it's amazing. We're waiting for the kids to get a little bigger, and then we're going to do a big tour of Europe and go to. My wife really wants to go to Spain. We'll probably go to Ireland and France and Italy and stuff. And it's crazy because you don't people that aren't from there don't understand that the countries are like states over there in the sense that you can drive to all of them pretty easily. It's not super long train or car rides, which you don't think about with countries because if you're, well, at least in America, you don't, because your country is so big that if you're in the center of it, driving to another country is pretty far. So, but driving to another state isn't. So it's people don't realize you can visit several countries pretty easily over there. Are you following the development of stablecoin per the Genius Act and the huge battle going on between banks and the administration over the Clarity Bill pending a vote? Not fully, honestly. Um, I'm aware of it, but not to a level that I could speak educatedly about it, honestly. All right, we're working through a sell cycle here, guys. Remember the data here, it would have worked like this if you were trading. So we got a short, it failed, and then they went green. This short failed, this short failed. So you would have had two more stop outs, and then, if we didn't stop out on this bar right here, well, technically, this wouldn't have fired a new sell. So you would have had to go ahead and take another sell here that would have been off schedule to get this move down. So you would have had at least three losing trades before you got to your winning trade. And That's if you got in at this bar and this bar didn't stop you out by coming down and going all the way back up. So that's why we put this filter in. Did we miss a move down? Maybe. I mean, based on our indicator, I guess yes is the answer, but the opportunity cost of getting this move down would not have been very good. I do want to see. I need to go back over to this other chart though. I want to see if we're getting anything here yet. Not yet. Oh, we do have. Okay, so these little arrows, arrows. I said that weird. These little arrows here, they tell you that where the pressure is in the market. So you have um, pressure was up until we got distribution, and then they went away. So now pressure starting to build to the downside on the 15-minute chart, and the pre-market low here is a cliff. So there is a solid drop of let's see, that's 67.70 they're at now. Down, it's about a 30-point drop down to the next support, which is right across this high-low combo. So you have this set of low. Oops, you have this. Get off of there. This set of lows over here matched with this high. That's a very strong support zone, but that's all you have between here and there. So this support they're coming down into is huge. God bless. Uh, so if they do break this support, very likely we accelerate into this zone here, and that's where I would look for potential short on this for this indicator. If you missed this earlier, if you're new to the stream, we've created it's called Squeeze Sniper, and it's phenomenal. It's mostly used on futures markets, but it can be used on other things. We looked at it on the SPX. It's okay. The SPY, it's better because the SPY has overnight trading. Um, and we looked at it in Nvidia, and they have a little bit of overnight trading, so you still get some gaps, but not as bad as you do on SPX. So SPX is probably the worst chart to use it on. But here it is on the ES 15-minute chart. We'll go back through them real quick because we got some time. So this trade here was so you have your entry. So the yellow is a short. The green down here you see on the left, that's a long. It gives you, let's zoom in so you can see it. It gives you everything you need in the trade. So as soon as it fires, you get your entry price. On this one was 67.89.50. Your stop was 67.96.75. The score was an 8 out of 10, and it's a grade A trade. And they came down to the first zone, which was 14 points. You closed half of your trade. If they would have continued, you'll see you can have a take profit 2. Take profit 2 doesn't necessarily have to be lower. Sometimes it's higher when the trade starts to end and it says, okay, it's no longer pushing in the right direction, and you just take profit to get out. So you could have a take profit 2 that's slightly higher, but not all the way up at the stop. Once you get your first take profit, it tells you how many points you got. So you got 14 for your half. So far, you've realized 7 points because your stop is at break even. So you move your stop from 67.96 to break even, and it actually prints on the screen a line with the stop and the price, so you can see exactly where it is, even though it's told to you right here. Your entry is your stop. So it puts it on the screen so you know exactly where to stop out, and then you stop out and you get your 7 points. As we go back here, it gives you literally everything: where to take profit, where to enter, where to stop, what you're doing. The grade of the trade is a good trade. It goes all the way from A plus to C. C trades, they're okay. They're not great. A plus trades are pretty darn good. This was an A. So we go back through here. We can see that you had this long here. Gives you, it's an A plus, 10 out of 10. Your first take was a 41-point gain. That's why it's an A plus trade. 41 points. They wanted to get a secondary stop higher. It broke down, couldn't follow through, and you broke even. So you made 20 on that trade, 20 points. Keep in mind, every ES point is worth $50 a contract. Over here, same thing. You got one winner and stopped out for a total of 4 points. A little over, actually. Here's your first loser, and it was a 18-point loser. So a pretty big loser on this one, and that's because the range is really big. And that's okay, you're going to get that sometimes. But right before that, you had this short that was a grade B that totaled 20 points of win. This one was a winner for 9.75 points. You stopped out on the second half, so the total win. The first part was 1950. Your total win was 975. This one was a double winner for 23 points. Remember, this is so far this is our only loser. This was a grade A trade for 18 points. This was a grade A trade for 22 points. This was a grade B trade for, where's our take? 9 points. This was a grade A, at least it could have been an A plus, I can't see. But you got 15 points on this one. The first take was at 30 points. This one was a trade, and you got both for a total of 1225. This one was a grade A trade. You got both for a total of 1275. Remember, still only one loser. This one was a double winner for 1250. This one was a single winner for 625. This one was a double winner for 1350. Still only one loser. This one was a double winner for 2950. This one's a double winner for 2850. This one is a stop out. So here's your second loser all the way back on February 4th. Again, that's well over a month. That's a month and 1 week ago. So over that time, we probably went through 20 trades there, and you were, I don't know, 18 and 2. I don't know how many trades it was exactly, but you saw how many it was and how many losers there were. Your next one before that, double winner. Then you did have a stop out here for minus 725. You had a 41-point winner here. That's a $2,000 trade per contract. Here you had a double winner for 32.75. That's a $1,500 trade per contract. Here was a loser. This was a single winner for 6. You had a double winner down. No, this was a single winner for 19. A single winner for 22. Yeah, 22. This one was a 11-point win, right? Yeah, oh, 19. No, that was a. Which one is this? I gotta figure out what's what here. That one goes here. That one goes here. Yeah, it's a single. Okay, it's part of a single winner, I think. Um, this is a double winner for 17. This was an actual loser for 5 points. I hope you guys can see what's going on here. Double winner 25.25. Single winner 675. There was a winner and a loser here. So one was that was a 10-point win. This was an 8-point loss. This one here was 1850. Single winner, double winner for 17 points. Double winner for 11. Double winner, a single winner here for, that one was 50 cents. Stop out there for 5, minus 5. No, double winner for 1975 here. And that takes us all the way back to January 18th. Oh, there it goes. Stop out here for minus 7. But you just made 7 right here. So nothing lost there. Single winner for 350. Stop out for 11. Single winner for 275. Double winner for 13. Single winner for 675. Stop out for 375. Double winner for however many this is. 1275 and so on. So we're getting through the buy cycle here. I'm going to see if we get a buy or not, or the sell cycle, I mean. NASDAQ has a little further to go. But you can see how this is working. I mean, 775 winner there, 250, so not much there, but double winner here for 1775. Double winner here for 33. Single winner here for 375. Double winner here for 1675. Single winner for 4. Single winner for 475. And that's as far back as we go, I think, the trade. No, there's more. Single winner here for 525. This one stopped out for minus 350. This was a double winner for 750. I mean, the amount of losers versus the amount of winners is insane, guys. Just insane. So that'll be out next week, I hope, for March Madness. I'll run a promotion on it. It's called Squeeze Sniper, and we're really, 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 really excited about it. It's pretty awesome. It's got some other bells and whistles in here. The red triangles down indicate that pressure remains down. The black arrows down. So these are stronger. The red triangles down. The green triangles up would be stronger. The blue dot down here is expansion building. So you would look for upside. The orange dot is looking for downside. That is distribution. So this one was a small distribution, a small expansion, and then you got a distribution here that fell off a cliff. Distribution here that came down, then they expanded up huge. Distribution here that came down. So just a really, really powerful tool. They're coming into that support zone, so we would expect them to defend here. My wife and I moved from Texas to Germany in 2004, but before I started working in Germany, we spent 3 months traveling through Europe. It was lovely. Yeah, I haven't traveled through Europe by like driving through it or train, but I've been to various ports around there, and I always liked all of it. Um, I'm excited to see more of it. When you visit on a Navy ship, you're kind of limited as to how long you can be there and how far you can go. So I'm excited to see more of the cool stuff that you can see over there. Perfect timing for the release. I'm getting back into trading futures in 2 weeks. Awesome. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, I'm pretty blown away with how much better the coding was than I thought it was going to be. Well, NQ never got us into a full complete sell. ES did. This bounce though is building a squeeze, starting to build a squeeze on ES. So we'll see if that squeeze is going to build up or down. Um, Based on the fact that we're at support, typically that would mean a squeeze up, but it could also mean they're going to break support and squeeze down. So I don't ever anticipate what the squeeze is going to be. I just wait for the signal and then we go with it. I'm going to say Wednesdays might be the worst trading day of the week. I don't know the last Wednesday we had a super successful Wednesday. We come in Monday, we get big wins. Tuesday, we get some wins. Wednesday comes wrong, and we shit the bed. It is ridiculous how Wednesdays run. Is there any issues for only phone usage? No. The I use it so I get alerts on my phone. I set up to have it alert me when a trade is fired, and then I can go right in and make the trade real quick. And the beauty of that particular one is, with Pivot Point Pro, you have to kind of manage the stop. Where with that one, it gives you the stop and you set it and forget it, and then you can alert when the take profit comes up and go ahead and go in and exit the trade. So I don't have any issue with it. Take Wednesdays off. Well, it's more about the live stream than anything else. You're here trying to show that your indicator is very powerful, and it is. I mean, we make a lot of money with it, just not on Wednesdays. So I guess I need to move the live stream or something. I don't know. It is the worst day to trade. And I know you get fed on Wednesdays, so that causes some Wednesday. It's only like once every couple months. That causes some Wednesdays to be choppy, and you get like fed minutes and things. But today you got CPI that causes a little bit of wacky behavior. But in general, Wednesdays suck. Um, the bigger issue here, guys, is still banks. I can see that they're still under 50. If we go look at the banking chart real quick, since we got nothing to do. Okay, now we can get a buy signal if the Nasdaq has to close this bar in the sell cycle. But if they can, then we can get a buy signal. We want to go to the daily chart on banking. So banking has, if you zoom out a little, it has a really nice 5-wave structure up to complete this. So it has a really nice wave 4 pullback, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back to the highs. And that 5 waves is now breaking down or come down and tested. We are still on the ES. We got to go to banks. I was like, this isn't the best 5-wave structure. Something's off here. Where's the banks? There they are. This high wasn't great. Banks. There we go. Much better. They have a really nice wave 4 down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they have changed character in the market by breaking down below 51. And then they had a lot of support right here at 50 that they've been chopping on, and they're still below. You can see all these lows that they've been chopping into. This is a bad deal for banks. They're below the daily 200. The moving averages are about to invert. On the weekly, They are below the 50 and at the 100, and this is a major zone, guys, because the 21 crossing the 50 is ugly on the weekly chart, and hedge fund managers watch the weekly 50 for strength, and they get out when charts are below the weekly 50. So you see institutional moves, and they are now on this week again below the 50. So they closed below the 50 here, closed below it here, and they're making a lower low this week into the 100. If they lose the 100, Tom Petty would call it free falling. And it's a big deal if the banks start to go down. Big deal. I'm a firm believer that banks are the real bubble, not. And don't get me wrong, AI is absolutely a bubble, but banks are the one that matter. I've missed some of today's room. Is the new squeeze in addition to current IWJ use now or replacing? Neither. Neither. It's not replacing. So some people like the day trading of IWJ because it's not on futures markets and it's a little more. It gives you a lot more activity. The 15, you're only going to get, you know, maybe up to a couple trades a day on the other one, whereas IWJ might give you 2 to 3 smaller trades every day. Um, and the other one you got to kind of wait for bigger setups. So they are two separate entities. Hello, I just found your channel. If you look at patterns since February 1, Wednesday PM, Thursday AM is time to sell, and Tuesday AM is time to buy, but things are changing. Your views on silver. Um, I typically don't do, I do silver, don't get me wrong. I typically don't do that for this. This is more about the indicator. However, given that today is slow, we can look at it really quickly. Silver is in a, so if you were in my group, which obviously you're not since you just found my channel, we bought, it's called EK Wax right here. So we bought this fund. It is a metals fund class A, and we bought it at 49, and it was as high as almost 200, I think. When that was, we bought it with our 401k money because I said all the way back in April of last year, which is right here, when silver was 30 and gold was like, I don't know, maybe 100 and something. I forget what gold was at, but all the way back in April, um, I had everybody put all their retirement funds into precious metals, or at least I put mine in there, and told everybody that's what I was doing. Um, and obviously, I took some off as we went up. I only have 10% left now in these funds. I took a lot of it off right around this box, maybe 80 or 90, somewhere in there, and then gold. Um, so I only have 10% of this left, is my point. But we way more than doubled our retirement over a year. And as far as the final outcome goes, doubled. As far as price goes, almost quadrupled. Um, but I think, and I warned heavily that when silver gets vertical, you need to let it ride and then take some off and let it ride and take some off, because when silver ends, it ends extremely nasty. Is silver over? I tend to think yes, but I do still have 10% in there, uh, just in case. But when you get a drop like this on the volume that we got here, I do see a potential ABC and then down. But silver tends to collapse when it collapses. It doesn't tend to pull back and gain strength. If you go back and look at the last time silver went nuts, way over here, you can see that the same exact thing happened. It gets vertical, and then it collapses straight down, gives you a little bit of a bounce, and then it's gone. So my view is we are in this stage right here, coming up on this move up, looking for a dead cat, and then a sell back down. Now, can they produce another high for a fifth wave? The answer to that is they can, but my probability and primary path is down, but I will give them a chance to bounce and see what happens. And if they turn down and fail, then we'll bail, and that'll be the end of silver for a while. That is my overall thought on the metals complex in general. Gold is looking a little more bullish than silver, but overall, the move in metals, or the time to enter metals, was back here right when they were getting ready to break out. And welcome to the stream, Terps. Are you a is that Terps because you are a Maryland fan, or is that just a thing? Just curious. Jay, have you messed around with AI yet? You can copy your Schwab summary page along with your positions and your realized gains page into Gemini 3 Pro, and it will analyze your portfolio. I use a lot of AI, not for that specific purpose, but I guess that's something. I don't know that I don't I don't know that I would want that, honestly. I don't know. I'd have to see exactly what it does, but yes, I use a lot of AI. Last name is Turpin. I was in the Air Force. Oh, okay. Nice. And in my younger years, I would have been about just about drink anything, and Terps became my nickname. Got it. Got it. We'd have probably been friends. I was in the Navy, and I also would drink just about anything. From Greensboro, I've been down there a few times. I live in Cambridge now. I have not been to Cambridge, but I've been to Greensboro. All right, guys, I am sitting on a 678 strike right now. The NQ has finally moved through its sell cycle. Not loving where we're at for a potential entry. We're at the most traded zone today, which isn't a great place to get an entry. Again, the indicator doesn't say, oh man, this is a bad place to trade because we're at the most traded zone. It says this is where we're likely to see continued extension, whatever, follow through on the market. And sometimes when you get strong moves down, it can take a while for it to flip. Or if you get the NQ just being a jerk like it is today, you get kind of wonky entries. So we'll see if we get an entry here. If we do, I'm sitting on 678 call currently. And there is a squeeze building. I would say it's an interesting one. Given the sell cycle that we're in and the market structure here, I would typically say up, and we came off of support. So I think it's likely up. However, sometimes what you see here is, the squeeze can build and run the range again, and then the squeeze actually plays out like this. So essentially, this is a trap of the squeeze. This is kind of a dead cat that where it's weak and then turns down. But given that we came off support, this does seem like it wants to fire long. And but the NQ is a little different because the NQ is just now starting its squeeze on the 5 minute, and it has moved up. So the NQ is inverse to the ES in the fact that the ES started its squeeze down here at support, and the NQ is starting its squeeze up here at resistance. So that's a bit of a conundrum in the way that that happens. Usually they're pretty much on the same boat or in the same boat on this. So as much as I would normally say, yeah, the squeeze is up, I do have a feeling that this spike high could lead to a lower high, lower low combo. So you get this manipulation high. They come down, test support, give you a dead cat like they're going to come back up, and then do this. And remember, under this pre-market low is air. This is a fall through. So this would be the most likely squeeze direction if they break this. That would be where the squeeze would be easiest to occur. This way you have a fair amount of resistance still. So it's a little bit of a conundrum on which way the squeeze might play out. They've bounced it so far away here that they could be building a bigger squeeze. They've traded back up in this black line is the most traded zone. You see the kind of volume bar over here. So they're rejecting that right now, and then we'll see if they can push it to the downside. So the here's the contributing factors to why it's confusing. We are in the end of a downside momentum cycle, um, and usually that equates to strength in the other direction because you're in a down. It's hard for a downside momentum cycle to play out and then continue to squeeze after a bounce. It's not impossible, but it's hard. Um, but you're also just now entering the squeeze on NASDAQ at the most traded resistance or traded zone, which is resistance. So it's entering its squeeze at resistance, whereas ES entered it at support. So that's kind of the conundrum here is the momentum cycle isn't tipping its hand. Usually what would happen here is if the ES was going to squeeze down, it would bounce up and get this momentum cycle flipped, like it was going to go into a buy cycle. And just at the last second, it would do this and reverse it back into a strong momentum down cycle. And that's where it kind of like resetting the filter, if you will. And that's how they trap. So it's kind of an interesting spot for me to know exactly which way we're headed. Kind of want to see if there's any information over here. Nope, no arrows, no expansion dot, nothing to help me out on this chart. So we'll just have to wait and see. Funny, ES just flickered into a buy. NQ not there yet, so that could be the flicker into the buy. This buy could be a trap right here, and that would make sense. You're buying at resistance, which sucks. It's a shitty entry spot. I'll be honest with you. If we get this buy signal, but there's lots of times we do that, and I'm mad at it, and then we go up 25 points, and I'm like, I'm not mad at it. I was just confused. This will be it. If we get a trade here or not, that'll be what we do for today. Um, we'll shut it down after this to see what they do. If they launch and we're on board, awesome. If they reject and we aren't, then so be it. Um, it is another Wednesday that just that just isn't a good day. It's always a good day to trade, but you know, you like to see your account turn green more than not. The day's been about the NQ. Again, the NQ's been a kind of thorn in the side of some of these days, especially Wednesdays, where it's either not on board, it's the opposite, or it's late to the party, or whatever. It was late to the party on the sell. The sell was correct. ES was trying to sell way up here or way over here, but NQ didn't get on board till down here. And now NQ's late to the party for the buy if they get a buy. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. When looking at the bounces from the last 4 to 5 minute bars, we can see a loss of momentum from bounce to bounce. Easier to see it on the 1 minute time frame. Do you see this as a sign of the move up ends? Um, I, I think you're seeing a loss of momentum to the downside. The upside, these four upside bars are starting to weaken a little bit. So what you could, I guess what you could see here typically is you can get this move up and then a little bit of chop here to kind of settle and then go. But It's not an ideal setup in my opinion, but that's why the indicator's smarter than me because it calculates all that crap in the background and I don't have to worry about it. All right, coming up into secondary resistance and pushing. Let's see what we get here. We're still waiting on the NQ. ES is there. Push right through the most traded zone. NQ still not able to switch gears. So NQ has lagged in both directions, causing us poor entries, which is super annoying because usually NQ is on point with its leadership, at least in one direction. You know, NQ has been failing to the upside quite a bit lately, but leading to the downside. So NQ usually gives you one of them as a strong lead, but today it's not really doing either, which is annoying. What's the NQ up against? What are we looking at? I'm going to switch charts real quick, guys. Okay, so the most traded zone on the NQ is up here a little higher, so you do have a little bit of room to run on the NQ. Up here at 25,094, and 25,000 is a heavy resistance area, so I could definitely see this being a downside squeeze. But again, conflicting data makes it tough. Usually I can have a pretty good idea of which way the squeeze is heading, but for now, I guess what I would say now is if NQ can't fire long or does, and we fail this long, then look out for a sharp reversal. All right, there's our buy signal. I got $1.91, and my stop is going to be 677.80 and a 678 strike. So we'll see if they're going to squeeze this up, and hopefully they do since we're on the train. If they fail here, though, like I said, watch for a sharp reversal. Okay, that was fast. We are there, guys. We're gonna close one half for. I'm sorry, did I say I got $1.81? Never mind. I was looking. I typed one thing, got another. I apologize, guys. $1.81 was my entry. 91. $1.91 was my entry. I don't know what the hell is happening there. $1.91. Too many screens. Too many screens. $1.91 was the entry. Okay, so we had 19 cents on $1.91 is gonna be 210, and I believe we hit 210. Ah, now I am out of sorts. Six and nine, guys. All right. We stopped out there at $1.65. Watch for a sharp reversal here. Okay, they're back at the 21. If they blow through this, then look out for a, like I said, a sharp reversal back down towards these lows where you may get something that looks a little bit like this. Today's entries were not good. They just weren't. NQ kind of screwed us on both ends, and that happens sometimes where NQ lags and doesn't get on board soon enough, or ES lags and doesn't get on board soon enough. Today was the NQ. So crappy entries was the biggest problem today. If they we could still issue another buy, so I'm gonna give them a chance here to pull back and reissue potentially. You can definitely see a trap go type of thing, but I think the trap was already set. I think. I don't know. Seems like it should have been like that. We'll find out pretty quick, I guess. Basically, this right here, if they get back through the 21, the 8, and the VWAP area here and close below it, then very likely to follow through to the downside. We do have a pressure up arrow, so it's an interesting one. This bar here will be telling. If they're able to go take out this low, then like I said, look out below. But if not, then we can rip this back up into the afternoon. Jacob, you think about doing these videos on another day other than Wednesday, or is it the only day that fits your schedule? I could. I just like doing Wednesday. It's kind of the middle of the week. It's easier. Mondays I have a morning call. Fridays I don't really want to do Fridays, so it's either Tuesday or Thursday. Right now with my kids' schedule and stuff, today is a better overall day, but I could move it around and adjust. It's certainly possible. The Wednesday trading has been rough. I'm not going to lie about that. The Like I said, Monday and Tuesday both pretty good days, and then today just punch in the gut. Kind of the moment of truth for the Bears here. If they can break down and close below the 21, and really this low here, they came down. If you can see kind of where they've um, this area right here, they spiked into it here, spiked into it here, spiked into it again. So just getting down through that area should open the door back to the lows. They'll have a little bit of trouble at about 676.13. And then below that, they should be coming back down to test the low. Again, below this pre-market low and the trap door opens. Or yesterday's low, I guess pre-market low combo. That is where the real selling begins. And quite frankly, when you have a failed breakout, which we had today, you should be hitting the pre-market low and they didn't yet. So that is a red flag as well. So just be cautious here. Like I said, you get a little bit of conflicting data, but they set the trap here with the buy and now are trying to press down, which leads me to believe that downward pressure is going to take effect. We may even get a sniper squeeze here. We'll see. All right, they closed below the 21. Now they got to break down below this support, and the Bears can start to run. If not, well, away we go. All right, guys, this looks like it's going to break to the downside. And if it doesn't, we can't get a new buy signal anyway. So I am going to call it here. Guys, if you're in my main room, we'll have the call at noon, as we always do. And from there, we'll see how they close out the day. So far, a lot of nothing, much ado about nothing with CPI, slightly green on NASDAQ, slightly red on ES. And RTY has gotten all the way back to even after getting smoked early in the day. So we'll see if they follow through here to the downside and can break down. If they break this low right here, guys, that opens the door for about a 30-point drop. So keep an eye on that. Have a wonderful week, everybody who's not in the rooms. If you want to be part of Sniper Squeeze, it'll be out next week. I hope. So keep an eye out for that, or I'll advertise it again on next week's call with how you can get it if you want it. And we can go over the results of the last week of it as well. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody, or week, everybody. Enjoy the conference tournaments and selection Sunday, and we'll be back for March Madness next week. All right. Thanks, everybody.